Previously on Story Hoard.
Momori, did the big guy forget about my order? The order that's essential to protecting this town that we love and live in and protect with our lives? Currently unarmed?
Momori waves her hand and kind of exits the workshop with the spear, right? She's supposed to be taking that.
Mateo, you see at the bottom of the list that it is your turn to bring over the monthly offering to the Temple of Storm and Harvest. I know you're not the biggest fan of the temple, and I can bring these in there for you. How about that?
All right. Sure. Yeah, take it.
So if you know magic, does that make you like a spellcaster?
No. You guys are clowns, right? You're actors, you're performers. So, why not put on a show instead of just standing around?
Sildra. She goes to answer you, and across the town, you hear an explosion go off.
Ruh-roh.
Did I do that? Sorry.
No, you're so good. From the estates, from the town center, from the farm fields, everywhere hears this explosion. And immediately people are running towards the sound. You guys are all in different places. Sildra is in the town center. Momori is on her way to deliver Kolya's spear to her down by the south side. And Mateo is in the library when you all hear this go off. What are your responses?
Sildra's gonna run over to the big boom.
Yeah, Momori's going that direction too, with her spear. So, I mean, looking pretty intimidating, I'd say.
I check the weather first, and then I go outside to check out this, I guess.
Oh, that's good. Give me a sec. I just need to double check what you would roll for this. I'm having you all roll a perception check just so you can have a proper sense of what's going on.
Dang it, that fell. It's a 17 though.
Oof.
17 here as well.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
So, it's fine. This deck these are 3 decks actually. They've seen worse actually than this.
Oh my gosh.
So.
I got a 13.
So 17, 17, and a 13.
Okay. Mateo, because you're in the library, you got a lot more between you and, the source of what happened. You know it's not a storm. Sticking your head out the window, you're like, yeah, no, nothing that funky going on.
Not thunder.
Not thunder. Definitely sounds man-made at the very least. Doesn't sound like a rock slide. As you race your way outside with, everyone else in the building to see what the heck is going on. And as you, make your way outside of the library, you have a good vantage point from being up this high in the estates. And as you look out, you see a plume of smoke coming out from the Temple of Storm and Harvest. Mm-hmm. Sildra and Momori, you both rolled 17.
Well, actually, I have a perception +3. I don't know if that matters, but that's what D&D Beyond says.
Ooh, yes.
So
Okay.
You got a 20.
that's a 20.
That absolutely does matter. That's not a nat 20, but that's still
Unnatural 20.
That's that counts as a nat 20?
No, it's an unnatural 20.
30-20.
Oh, unnatural.
Dirty 20. I always call it unnatural just because I like the sound of that.
No, it's good. It's a grody 20.
Delicious.
It's got some hold on it.
Just what I wanted.
It's got a little bit of crud. It's got that little bit of modifier on it. As you are making your way south on your way to find Kolya to drop off her commission, you hear this explosion go off. And it has been a while since you've heard a sound like this, but it's not unfamiliar. You know the sound of a bomb when it goes off. You know the sound of conflict, and you are racing towards it. You're one of the first ones on the scene with a 20 like that. And it's chaotic. The temple is mostly made out of wood and clay and, other very natural elements. But because of that, the front entrance of it is just up in flames. People are scrambling, trying to get out. People are running inside, trying to get people out. It's a pretty chaotic scene. And Sildra, with that 17, you hear this explosion on the other side of town. And as people are running and sprinting toward it, you see the clowns you were just speaking with at the merchant table. They look freaked out and they run completely the other way. They leave their wares and they're booking it away from that explosion.
Can't say I blame them.
Mm-hmm.
A little suspicious, but can't say I blame them.
Yeah. The older one, Draxa, has Bobino by the hand, and she's just trying to get him out of there. Do you go towards the explosion? Do you decide to stay and kind of like snoop around? I can never tell what Sildra will do at any point.
Sildra doesn't know what Sildra's going to do at any point. I think they're probably still going to go towards the big boom just because thing happening and probably more exciting than whatever thing is going on with the clown people.
Very cool. And Mateo, does Mateo also head towards the source of the explosion, or does he stay at the estates? No, fuck it. You guys don't get any more choice. You guys are all at the scene.
Right.
Never mind. I don't know why I'm asking this. I need to assert my role as storyteller and DM. Fine. Was Mateo not going to go? He sees
Grace,
a big ass explosion at the temple.
I have the right to express myself.
Fine. What does he
Why
do?
are you so worried Mateo's just gonna go back inside? Have faith. Mateo wants to know who beat him to it. Come on.
Are we sure we want to have faith in this gang type of people? Is that the right term?
Probably not.
Oh my gosh. You are silly. Everyone in town is making their way to the Temple of Storm and Harvest, and it's chaos, it's a mess, no one knows the best way to help. People are, running and pushing into each other, they're yelling at each other. Well-intentioned townspeople are doing their best to save the people that were inside, but it's general chaos. No one knows who started this. The only things that you can garner from this current situation is that it looks like, someone set off an explosion right at the very entrance of the temple because the front doorway is partially caved in. There's debris and fire kind of spilling forward in the space in front of it. There's a number of injured people that are laid out. You see a couple of temple acolytes that are laid out that look particularly injured. You see Rami and his father also pretty banged up. They're okay, but they're shaken, they're injured. And as the three of you approach the scene and kind of take stock of who all is involved, the governor of Hearth, Governor Lennox, who is just the most tired-looking man. He's always, running around town doing his best to keep the ship up and running, make sure that the people have, what they need to get by, handling relations between some of the other settlements around here. He is so out of his depth with a crisis like this. There's really never been an incident like this that everyone is trying to figure out how to navigate. And he's calling for order, calling for, some semblance of control of this situation. And as he's calling out into the crowd pretty ineffectively, you hear someone in the crowd say, Oh God, make way, come out of the way. As you see Governor Lennox's assistant bringing forward your three teachers from the estates. And as they enter the scene, the atmosphere changes entirely. These three approach, and people kind of look towards them, take a minute to breathe and settle down. And there's a variety of responses to seeing these three enter the scene. Some are relieved, some are annoyed, some, are still trying to focus on helping the people in the situation. But as the three descend, they're able to get people to coordinate. Ephadria is dealing with Governor Lennox in getting the situation under control, doling out orders and responsibilities. Zefarius goes over to Colia to get her assessment on, setting up a security perimeter for the town, while Ithaco goes over to the temple to stabilize the structure and get things controlled magically with the other spellcasters that are still standing. And as the situation kind of settles back down into something you can focus on, you three are given the opportunity to assess the situation. It's under control. It's not nearly as hectic as it was 2 minutes ago, just with these people stepping on the scene. What would you like to do?
I want to go up to Rami and his dad. Are they bleeding out? What's happening with them?
They're certainly not the most injured. Rami, he has a bandage plastered to his forehead as he's kind of holding his dad's hand. His dad looks more rattled than injured. And he sees you approach. He's like, "Oh my, Mateo, oh my goodness, He kind of laughs. He's like, "Oh, it's a good thing I brought that package in for you, huh? It could have been you in there."
First off, I'm glad that this is settled already because I have a -1 to medicine. So, what happened here? We're in the middle of what happened?
I don't really know. I mean, we were all inside, leaving our offerings, doing, visiting the temple. People were busy, people were happy. And then out of nowhere, it smells like incense and stuff in there, but there was a different kind of smoke, I guess, that started, wafting, and then there was a blast, and it was just, it was a lot. I really didn't see what happened. I managed to get me and Dad out of there in one piece, but, he kind of looks back over at the temple, which is still smoking, still standing, but very, very heavily damaged. He's like, "I don't know what to do, man. What happened? Who would do this?"
It's definitely a mystery. I can't imagine that I smell anything that's not soot, but I'm going to try smelling anyway.
How do you roll for smell? I mean, what?
I would say that would be perception or maybe
or investigation.
Yeah, roll an investigation check. That's
hell yeah.
Oh yeah, you're smart boy.
Oh, hey,
Oh.
hey, B.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa!
So I rolled a 19 and I have a +3. So
Hey,
Mateo's nose game is out of this
Sniff,
world.
sniff
Oh my
good.
god. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. You rolled to sniff so good. As you kind of lift your head and look towards the temple, you can smell on the air remnants of that temple incense and smoke. Underneath that smoke is a strangely heady kind of scent. You can't quite place it, but it's not it doesn't smell like gasoline. It doesn't smell like gunpowder. This smells magical, is the only way you can describe it. It does not smell like a natural thing.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it smells like a spell went off here, but that's what you gather from a 23 sniff.
One good
I
smell.
can't believe I fucking rolled to smell. I hate this game. Why are we doing rolls now?
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. Can
Oh my god.
Momori do some stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. What is Momori's response to this situation? You hear the blast, you ran right over. You know the
Yeah.
sound of a bomb or an explosion when it
Right.
goes off.
Definitely. So I feel because Momori was the first person on the, like, one of the first people. I shouldn't say the
Mhm.
first person. Obviously, that would be the perpetrator. But
Yeah.
so she's just gonna run and pull people out. So I feel like
Mhm.
that's maybe what she was doing. What she's
Oh, yeah.
continuing to do.
Yeah. Momori, make let's call that an athletics check.
Cool.
I'm gonna have you roll with disadvantage though, on account
Okay.
of all of the kind of like workout you were doing this morning, the work at the forge. You know
Oh.
your body can't push itself for as long as it used to.
I'm 20. I'm basically done with life. So,
Mhm.
I've passed
Mhm.
into elderhood. Anyways, that makes sense. My first roll was a 4. So let's see if it can go down from here.
Let's see.
How
Second
low
roll was a
can we go?
15. Okay, let me look
Okay.
at my athletics. My athletics is a +5. So that's a
Yep.
9.
Okay.
Not tragic.
9 is not nearly as bad as it was about to be.
Yeah, no. I think Momori, just because of her trauma, like, instantly is just like, what lives can I save? Like, how can I help here?
Yeah, Momori is one of the first on the scene, and as soon as you kind of rush headfirst into this temple that is up in flames and smoke, you grab one of the temple attendants who seems to be the most grievously injured. He's young, he's about probably your age. His legs are really, really messed up. It looks like he was probably the closest one to this blast. And as you haul this young man out, you are hacking at this smoke. And you have enough strength to bring this one man out and have him laid out, and people are immediately, on him, tending to him, trying to stabilize his messed up legs, applying tourniquets, whatever. You're only strong enough to get him, and you are just doubled over, coughing and hacking, and you spit up, and it's kind of gritty, and it hurts. And you look at this scene, and you kind of watch other people swoop in and start to help. You saved this one kid. People are grateful to you. And as they see you kind of struggling to catch your breath and keep yourself together, you have other people sitting you down with the rest of the injured, trying to tend to you, get you water, make sure that you're doing okay for what you managed to achieve.
Yeah, Momori is like supernova level pissed. She's pissed that she can't, like, that people are trying to help her, that she's not trying, like, she's not saying anything, but if you looked very closely at her face, like, it's just, she's just angry. And I don't know if anyone's, well, I guess no one's paying attention because there's a bomb went off, but if anyone had been, they would have seen her, like, once she spit up, like, very quickly take that spit and whatever else was in it and, like, wipe it on her, basically, cloak, like, as surreptitiously as she can.
I will say, no one's really looking at Momori wipe her face. You can be as subtle as you want.
No,
You coughing up is not the most striking thing at the scene.
Yeah, I feel like she would continue to try and help until someone, like, physically, like, told her not, like, not told her not to, but, like, held her back.
I would say after your coughing fit from your first attempt in, people were not going to let you go back in, but once you were kind of able to compose yourself, you're an extra set of hands, you're able to help put bandages and tend to people. People that know how to, apply medical aid. I won't make you roll a medicine check for this. I'll give you each like a roll right now. And with a 9, I'd say you're relatively uninjured. You saved a person, and the rest of your roll is just making sure everyone else that comes out of that temple is seen to.
Sure. All right.
I will say the kid you managed to pull out, he's very much the worst off. Everyone else, has various, burns or injuries, but nothing nearly as, grisly as what you dragged out.
Right. Momori's gonna stay with him then and kind of like hold his hand, I guess.
Okay. Let's go to Sildra. Sildra, you hear the bomb go off, you see the clowns run the other way, and you head towards the scene. What do you do?
As soon as they arrive, they're looking at the building and just taking it all in. They're kind of in a bit of shock. And for once, they don't have this sort of detached smugness to them. They just look as if they're staring into a dream. And just like that, they kind of roll their shoulders and the look is gone. And they very calmly almost walk up to the destroyed building, all the while listening for any interesting conversations that they can pick up from the people that have been saved, from the people who arrived before they did, and just seeing if they can pick up any useful information as to what happened here.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll perception for that, for listening in. There's a million conversations going on right now. There's a lot going on around you, so zeroing in on one to see what you managed to pick up.
Ooh, well, that was perception, or
Yeah.
so that's going to be a 4 total.
Okay.
They did not roll well for that one.
No. Okay.
But that's okay, because the reason they're walking to the building is so they can give a closer visual inspection and see if they can find anything themselves. Basically just sort of, is the building on fire? It's probably on fire.
Building is on fire. I will say that since Ithaco joined the scene and, wrangled a whole bunch of other spellcasters in town, they have it mostly contained and stabilized. It's not a threat to collapse, but it's definitely still smoky, still not super safe to be in. They're trying to get people out, not in.
No, they're not planning on going in there.
Yeah.
Is it still, even if it's unstable, holding itself up, or is it all just magic at this point?
If the magic was not holding it up, the whole front of this temple would be collapsed in.
Gotcha.
This blast happened what looks to be like right at the entrance of this place. So any supporting beams or whatever were just knocked out from under it. The back half by the altars and kind of the offering plates in front of the respective gods, those are still intact. How close are you? Are you like at the entrance, or are you like out front? Where are you investigating?
They can feel the heat of the fire. So they're probably about as close as Ithaco is.
Okay. Yeah, and she's closer than she should be for someone who's really only wearing like a thin cotton gown, like a chitin kind of robe dress. She seems unbothered. She is focused on the task at hand. But where you're able to stand and look around, you rolled a 4. I mean, you don't get much beyond some shit happened here, and it did some damage. Just trying to look inside, you can see the majority of the damage was done at the entrance. The back half looks relatively intact, aside from the fire.
Do they know any spells that could have done this, or have they heard of anything like this before?
Not that they're familiar with. I think for where they were at with their kind of level of official magical education. Spell of set big bomb off wasn't there just yet.
They didn't learn the boom boom yet.
Not yet. And, Mateo was able to smell magic in the air because of his really good nose, but I don't know that... I don't know that Sildra has that
Sildra's nose is
inkling.
probably stuffy right now.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do I know if there's a god of bombs?
There is not a god of bombs. Unfortunate. Not yet.
It's gonna be Mateo.
Mateo just wants to know so he can go and personally thank this god, actually.
Is this trademarked yet?
Like, just bookmark that one and then, go around and start asking. Okay, so you all rolled, you've all, investigated or participated. Yeah, I mean, Sildra, unless there's any other, way you'd wish to contribute beyond going up and, looking around and just seeing like, yeah, it sure is a mess.
Is there anyone like right next to them that looks like they're dying right now?
There are a number of pretty injured people, not to the level of the guy that Maddie pulled out, but there are a number of people that have pretty significant burns on them.
They're going to start heading back the way they came, and as they're walking away, they'll sort of subtly cast Spare the Dying on any injured people they pass by. But they're mostly focused on getting back to the clowns.
Interesting. Okay.
A goal to be sure. Does Sildra walk by Momori and the kid she pulled out?
Do they?
Or
Well, that's the most grievous kid.
Sure.
does Momori notice Sildra casting that spell?
Well, Sildra's like using a sleight of hand, so
Well, Momori's passive perception is 13, so
ooh,
I'm using actual
Roll to beat a 13, I
stats.
guess?
Yeah,
okay.
this friendship
Eh,
will
oh,
happen.
I don't think friendship is going to happen. Like even without adding anything, it's a 17.
Subtle friend. Next time.
Yeah, with the sleight of hand,
Mhm.
it's a dirty 20.
Why are you guys so
Ooh,
unpersonable?
dang.
Both of you are just like
Friendship denied.
lone wolves.
Friendship will have time to happen.
You can't force
Yes.
these things.
I guess. Alright, fine. Can Momori like talk to this kid? Is this kid like dying still? Like, or is he awake? I should say.
As Sildra walks by, you don't notice that Sildra's walking by. This guy does kind of like come to, he's stabilized. His legs are bandaged above the knee. Just like very, very tight tourniquets taken care of. And he's very disoriented. He's kind of like trying to focus his eyes. His eyes land on you, Momori, and he's like, What happened?
There was an explosion. Do you remember?
I was tending to the offering table. I was bringing the offerings to the altars. There was a whole bunch of new relics that need to be moved. Are the relics okay? Is everyone okay?
Momori kind of grips his hand a little tighter and kind of shakes her head like, no, like, don't worry about that right now. What's important is you're still alive, breathing. The temple is not in great shape, but I think most people survived.
He kind of closes his eyes and he's like, what happened to the gods? Are they still there? Or
Momori grips his hand kind of too tightly for a second and then releases it and kind of rubs her hands on her like tunic and kind of looks away, and she just kind of mutters like, I don't know.
This kid, I say kid, like I said, he's your age. He's, 20.
Child, baby, infant.
He does look very young for, he's, clearly grown, but he has a very soft face. He's got fair skin, some rusty colored hair, smattering of freckles all over his face and shoulders. He's in pain. He's upset. And I think the thought of, not knowing what happened to the gods of the temple is probably the most upsetting thing to him right now. Like I will say, he has not like assessed his own physical situation. He's not quite out of it, but he's definitely not focusing on himself right now because there's too much else around him to pay attention to.
Momori kind of like looks back a little bit, side-eyeing him, and moves closer again. She just kind of like says a little softer, and she's like, "Oh, our gods, are they not?"
They'll be fine.
She gives him a gentle smile and nods.
It's like they'll be here to help. I know. Whatever happened, they'll be here to help.
Momori sits back on her heels and kind of, when you like hug yourself and she's gripping very, very tightly. She's gonna go find Zafarius now.
Yeah, Momori, you leave this young man. He'll be fine. There are other people to keep track of him. You get up and you manage to find Zafarius a little ways away from the temple, headed towards the center of town, as he's pulled Kalia aside and is grilling her as far as what her plan is to secure the town's defenses. Now, as captain of the guard, she is the go-to in this situation. And he's speaking with her very briskly. He's like, okay, once you have this front gate secure, I need you to set up points of observation, the estates, the town center. I need eyes. Obviously, over by the temple, we need people supervising who is going in and out. And she's, nodding her head and trying to take notes on a little pad of paper that she had on her. She's like, well, Forge Master, it really is, me and Momori, we will do our best, but these are a lot of vantage points for two people to cover. And he says, well, find some more people. There's been an incident, Captain. She's like, yes, of course.
Momori walks up and briskly to them, just kind of looks directly at both of them, and she's like, Zafarius, Kalia, what can I do?
Kalia's going back over her notes. She's like, well, if you can manage to find about a dozen or so more people willing to enlist in the town guard so that we can have an actual security force keeping stock of what just happened, because she's also clearly rattled.
Kalia, what things do we need to make sure are secure first?
I mean, we gotta make sure the town gates are closed, obviously. We can't have people in and out. And
I'll be back. Momori turns on her heel and walks away. Or actually, no. I don't know if she can run. Yeah, she'd be running.
She will run. She's not sprinting.
No, not at all.
Yeah, she runs to the town gates to secure that entrance. Mm-hmm. Just real quick, Mateo, are you still with Rami? After your really good sniff.
Yes. I'm also just wondering, is my mother around here, or is she on a business trip?
Your mother is in this crowd. Armani is watching with kind of a hand to her chest as she sees these events unfold. She is as shocked as the rest of the citizens of Hearth at what just happened. She's standing maybe a little bit further away from the rest of the crowd, but she's watching shit go down.
Cool. How busy is Lady Ethetria right
now? Lady Athatria is just running down the situation with Governor Lennox, kind of just like nodding behind her. He's in charge, but she's the one actively getting stuff done and coordinated. She's instructing groups of volunteers on which of the victims to help first. She's sending any spellcasters towards the temple to help out Ethico. She's sending various able-bodied individuals over towards Zephyrius and Kolya to get a guard started. She's juggling a lot of hats right now.
Cool. Don't really want to bother her. I'm just gonna turn to Rami and his dad. You guys do spells sometimes, right?
They both nod. They're like, yeah, for small stuff, handiworks. We're not like spell slingers like those guys. Kind of points to the people helping at the temple.
Right, so you wouldn't know about anything that could have done something like this?
His dad kind of looks at you, Mateo, looks him up and down. He's like, whatever it was powerful, and it was supernatural. Because whatever that blast did, it didn't just hurt us. He kind of puts a hand to his temple. He's like, that thing, it spooked them. It spooked the gods in there. It did. I could feel it. He's shaking, and Rami kind of like holds his dad around the shoulders. What do you mean? It spooked them, Dad? What are you talking about? He's like, I was right up by that altar. You can feel them. When a god is present, you know when they're there. And as soon as that bomb went off, they just weren't there anymore. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, isn't that just so convenient for them that they can just leave whenever they want? And what, we have to clean up the mess now? Do we know anyone that can, like, divert water? There's, like, a pond right there.
That is, the spellcasters are working on it. They're doing their best to get this under control, and they are utilizing, like, people have buckets and things. Like, they're not ignoring the main source of water.
Okay, good.
Rami's like, I'm sure they wouldn't just leave for no reason in the middle of an attack. Maybe Dad's onto something. Maybe something about that blast scared them off. What scares a god, though?
The bomb, apparently.
Every single one of our members in our party just like hard side eye.
Do I notice anything? Anyone like acting unusually in this crowd?
I want you to roll perception. I want you to roll with advantage.
Okay. Okay. First one's a 2.
Mm-hmm. You can go up. You don't want to go down.
This is perception, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's a 7.
Okay. Is that with any potential modifiers, or it's just...
That was with my +1.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Oh no, the first one was a 2. Oh no.
Yep.
All right. With that 7, your eye feels cold. I should say your glass eye feels particularly cold right now. And it becomes noticeable enough that you go to kind of like rub at your eye or turn your head in one direction or another. You really don't notice anything other than that. Not a lot you can do with a 7, huh?
I just get a migraine.
Yeah, you get a migraine. I want to give you something for it. You do notice a few people peeling off towards the other side of town. At this stage in the game, people are starting to disperse to, help in other ways, whether it's going to join with the guard or going to the center of town to get more medical supplies. People are peeling off in all different directions. And there are some people that are peeling off towards the town gates that you see.
Okay, I'll follow them. Go towards the gates.
And just real quick, Sildra, where did you wander off to? You were going back to investigate the clowns.
Yes, they're going back to the place they came from to see if there's anything of note in the cart they left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's no way they're going to be able to catch up with the clowns at this point. They're gone.
Oh yeah, they've dipped. Yeah, you return to kind of the merchant's market that's set up. And all of the stalls are unattended. Everyone's got, their wares just kind of hanging out. And the booth where the clowns were, set up at, their same kind of garbage wares are sitting around, as well as, a couple of flyers for what looks like a circus. A kind of crudely drawn picture of a big top with a crest of what looks like an H with two circles at like the cross marks where like the verticals and horizontal meet. There's a little crest emblazoned on it, and it says, coming soon to a village near you.
Have they ever seen this mark before?
No, you're not familiar with it. It's striking enough that it's like, oh, okay, that's clearly like a brand. It's not like a stray mark or anything. And as you look through their stuff, you can see a number of things with this little insignia on it. You see a couple of jangly clown hats with it emblazoned on it. You see a couple of little icon coins with this mark. But there's not a whole lot at this booth of particular value. It really does look just kind of like junk that these teens found on the street that they're just trying to sell for some quick cash.
And the flyers, do they look kind of amateur and handmade?
They're definitely not great, but there are quite a few of them of varying kind of hands. It looks like a whole group of people made just like a batch of these things. So some of them are much nicer quality. The handwriting that reads, coming soon to a village near you is a little bit more fancy, a little bit more striking. Some of it looks like it was probably done by little Bobino. Very heavy-handed with big smiley face. And, on a few of these things, they have, little sparkles. A few of them have cool flames going up. And then on another one of them, it has a couple of sparks.
And there's no one who's still hanging around the area, right?
Yeah, you have your all reliable fishing buddy Hiram, who is also kind of just like poking around here. It seems like he maybe kind of was late to the action, because as he's kind of like stumbling around town center, he's like, what the hell just happened? Trying to get a sense of what's going on. He's like, Sildra, hey buddy, what I miss? I was in the tavern for completely innocent reasons, and I woke up and apparently there's a lot going on. What the hell?
I think someone crashed a cart or something. Hey, listen, have you seen like anyone running towards the village entrance or anything?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of punk kids going that way a while back, I think.
Do they have clown makeup on?
They either had clown makeup on, or they were just really, flushed with excitement. Pale face, rosy cheeks. It's hard to tell this early in the day.
Gotcha, yeah. Well, do you need like a walk back home or something? You don't look too good.
I think I'm just gonna make my way back to... He kind of gestures over towards the residences near the town center. He's like, I can take care of myself. You you track down those rambunctious kid clowns or wherever it is you're chasing these days. Good for you. Stay safe out there because man, they're doing some crazy things these days.
Yeah, I think they pulled a prank downtown. You might want to stay away from the temple for a little bit while I clean it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who's pranking at the temple. Seems kind of, poor taste to me.
Beats me. Well, I'll see you around. Is there like a high place in the town somewhere?
The highest place would probably be the estates. It's set pretty high up into the cliffside.
Gotcha. That's pretty far away though, right?
It's a little bit of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the town center, I'd say if you're trying to get like a good vantage point, closest thing I could say is that farmlands are fairly flat. You can see pretty well across town. Once you get towards it, once you're out of town, it's fairly flat lands.
Yeah. And they're probably used to going off the road, so they'll probably take a little shortcut over to the fields, just crossing across the grass and stuff.
Yeah, you make your way towards the fields, just trying to get a better eye on things, and you can now see a couple of people headed towards the still open gates at the far end of town. It looks like everyone is, if not running, certainly going there at quite a clip.
Do they recognize anyone?
Only so far as these are people who live in town. You recognize them, they're not strangers. You may not be friends with them, but you know that they're from around here.
Gotcha.
But it is also kind of a distance, so you know enough to be like, okay, I kind of recognize that weird blue blanket cloak, and that red hood looks kind of familiar. Not sure that you can necessarily make out exact faces from this distance, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. They're gonna go ahead and just take their fishing pole to the river and chill for a bit.
Wait, where in the river?
There's a river that runs.
Like near the
There's a
temple?
river that runs through the fields that they're near right now.
Yep.
Oh dear
Oh, okay.
God. Let me look at this on the map.
They tried.
Have
After
the
all
temple
of
burning in the
that.
Oh
background.
my god.
Just catching
What
some fish.
a visual, man. Okay. I will say, are you in like the farmlands? Are you by like the South Bridge? Where's Sildra camping out?
Sorta near the South Bridge. Just do Sildra things.
Is this to kill time or is this to observe? Okay. Okay. Yeah, that tracks. Okay.
If anyone like runs by them, they'll kind of like take a glance, like, oh, what was that? But they're basically just chilling. They're not investigating or anything.
So some people are
Okay.
like born heroes. There's people, they just go fishing.
Didn't see any clowns. Well, I'm done.
I tried.
Out of ideas. Yeah, did everything you could do. Saved some lives
go.
and,
Job well
looked
done.
through some clown junk.
Back it in, boys. We got him.
Dear God.
Honestly, when you put in perspective that you did save someone's life here,
Yeah.
you can go fishing. I just did a smell.
Sure.
Yeah. A real good sniff.
I got a migraine and a smell.
Yay.
Fine. Sildra, you fish, and you are camped out, as the rest of the town is trying to figure out what steps to take next. Momori and Mateo, you are both making your way towards the gates of town. These big, elaborately designed cast iron gates that are framed by these 20-foot high stone walls that effectively seal off the town from the rest of the mountain range. I will say, Momori, I think you get there first. You're hoofing it pretty quick. And Sildra, I think you see this girl run by in her red cloak, huffing a little bit out of breath. as she makes her way towards the gates with a boy in blue right behind her, maybe at a decent distance, but you see these two people making their way towards the front gates, and as you watch this scene unfold, you see the gates slam shut before anyone can get to them, and you hear another bomb go off right outside of them.
Story Hoard is produced by Grace, Maddie, Margaret, and Kev. Our theme song was written and composed by Vocal Outburst. Follow for updates and artwork on Twitter and Tumblr at StoryHoardPod, or visit our website at storyhoard.card.co. You can find all these links and more in the description of this episode.